We light this chalice to honor the flame that burns inside each of us, and also to honor the flame we will soon light inside each other. May our spirits be touched and moved so that we may grow and shine together.
We invite you to join in singing again this lovely centering chant by Unitarian Universalist composer Henry Fleury. Please rise in body, rise in spirit, lift your voices, and let us join our voices again in song. We will sing the words 5 times together. Please be seated.
Good morning. We would like to invite you into a story, and the story requires your participation. So I'm going to ask you to be excited this early morning to do your part. Are you ready? Great. So 2 things. We'll show you the hand motions, and I'll cut you off. That's all you need to know. After that, we're good to go. So first, in this story, we're going to create wind by doing this. Easy. Next, we're going to create an earthquake by doing this. And then the illusion of fire. And lastly, there'll be a stillness. "50 years ago, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. addressed our assembly saying, 'Don't sleep through the revolution.' His words inspired us and challenged us as only the words of a friend can. He said, 'There are those wonderful moments in life when you speak before a group that is so near and dear to you that you don't feel like you have to engage in the art of persuasion. You don't feel like you're in the midst of strangers. You know that you are with friends. I can assure you I feel that way tonight.'" In the Torah, in the book of Kings, there is Elijah's story God's prophet who is suffering. He speaks God's message, but the people aren't ready to hear it. Elijah flees for his life and finds God. Elijah takes refuge in a cave. We know the story. God asks, Elijah, what are you doing here? And Elijah replies, I've been very zealous for the Lord. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too. The Lord said, go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountain apart and shattered the rocks, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. When Elijah came out, he pulled his cloak over his face and stood at the mouth of the cave. And then a voice said to him quietly, what are you doing here, Elijah? In the religious history of North America over the last 4 centuries, there have been 3 great awakenings in Protestant Christianity. The first great awakening happened before the American Revolution. The preachers in this awakening spoke with great fervor about God's wrath. The Spirit, as they understood it, was among them. They spoke with a great wind. But that wasn't us. The second great awakening, which began about 1790 and ended before the Civil War, was like an earthquake. Clergy brought the message that Jesus' second coming was coming, and he would judge the quick and the dead, and the world would soon end. But that wasn't us. One interpretation of the third great awakening is the fundamentalism which started in the early 20th century. It is burned through our culture like a fire. In its rejection of modernism, it seeks a simpler time, a time that's less complex. That wasn't us either, but that's the wave we know because we've lived through it. We weren't the great wind describing an angry God. We weren't the earthquake predicting the world's end. We weren't the people with a burning fire trying to go back to a simpler time. But now it is time for a new great awakening, the awakening of the gentle whisper. The still small voice. We listen to the gentle voice of God's question, Elijah, what are you doing here? After the terrible wind, after the earth shook, after the sides of the mountain burst, there was a quiet, loving voice. This is us. This is our time. This is the question Dr. King asked us. What are you doing here? There is a fire out there, a fire stoked by fear, fear of the unknown, of loss of power, of the other. But we know deep in our souls, there is no other. We know that all humanity, indeed our whole planet, are in this together. We cannot be separate from them because no separation exists. There is no other. Dr. King implored us not to sleep through the revolution. We are in that revolution right now, and it is our time. We are the ones that we need right now. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the voice of reason and passion and compassion. Make no mistake, this is the next great awakening, and we must make it the awakening of coming together, of embracing and celebrating the beautiful diversity of theologies, philosophies, and ways of being in this world. These different pieces, like the different colors in a stained glass window, are marvelous. We practice living with people who love differently than we do, whose theology is different than ours, who appear different from us. And though we are not perfect in this practice of creating beautiful church windows filled with glorious colors, we are more practiced at it than most. we can be the imperfect teachers of this craft.
Now that you've had a chance to be really present, okay. Now that you've had a chance to be really present in your body, connected to the earth and to the arc of history, I'd like to invite you now to reflect on the words of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Forgive us for what we could have been, but what we failed to be." That's a tough one for most Unitarian Universalists, because to be forgiven, we first must have sinned. And it's not easy to think of ourselves as sinners. Even as we seek to redeem ourselves from our mistakes, we tend to make sin bigger than it is, as if it leads directly to damnation. But King's words define sin and suggest a solution. Forgive us for what we could have been, but failed to be. We all seek to be our best, and we all fail sometimes. Most of the time, our shortcomings are small, imperceptible to all but ourselves, easily forgotten or justified. But sometimes our shortcomings are greater, hard to forget, indefensible. Sometimes we do things that hurt others and we don't even know we've done anything wrong until later. We failed to address injustice that we didn't see. We failed to see the needs of others right in front of us. We carry these shortcomings with us for weeks, years, even decades. They can be enormous afflictions that encumber us, or more likely they're smaller, like a splinter that is unnoticeable at first, but grows more painful over time, then dulls, so that we learn to live with it. Then there are sins for which we know right from the beginning we must seek forgiveness. Either way, our shortcomings can become burdens that hold us down. What is your burden? What is one positive, life-affirming, soul-sustaining, or justice-making thing that you could have been but failed to be? Feel the weight of it on your body. Is it light and easy to bear? Or is it heavy and slumping down your shoulders? Now I'm going to ask you to take a risk. Not to expose the deepest secrets of your souls, not to share details, but to risk letting someone next to you know that you have a burden. So please, turn to someone near you, ideally somebody that you don't know, and just look at each other. Acknowledge one another's presence, your being. And one of you say to the other, "Neighbor, good morning. I have a burden. Will you stay with me as I lay it down?" And now the other, if you haven't already done so. Look at your neighbor and say, "Good morning, neighbor. I have a burden. Will you stay with me as I lay it down?" You're up.
I bring to you a thing from the past, from our 1935 red hymnal, you might remember it, Hymns of the Spirit. From the 10th order of service, I bring to you an order of confession written by Unitarians for ourselves. Please read with me on the screens the following words. Before the wonders of our failures to see and to revere, before the sanctity of life, we are ashamed of our disrespects and indignities. Before the gifts of life, we have made a choice of lesser goods, and today seek the Spirit. For the heroisms of a new life, we would like a large new motion. Peace be with you. Lift up your hearts. Joy.
Every time I feel this way, this old familiar sinking, I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. By and by I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. It's been said, and I do believe, as you ask, so shall you receive. So take from me these troubles, bring the sweet release, where the river will never run dry. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. By and by I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. There is a river in this heart of hearts, with a knowingness of my highest good. I am willing, I will do my part, where the river will never run dry. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. I'm gonna let myself be lifted. By and by I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. Where the river will never run dry. This river will never run dry.
This past December, there was an article in the local news that just unhinged me completely. It was about a robbery at a Speedway gasoline mini-mart. A man went into the mini-mart, stole a case of beer, and then fled by car. But what made this robbery different was that there was another man in the store who had a concealed carry weapon. And that man pulled out his weapon and shot at the thief as he was fleeing, having confronted no one. But what really unhinged me was the note in the news article that said that the only official response was that the police had taken that man's weapon and then sent him home on his own recognizance. What world do we live in where it is possible to attempt murder and still be home in time for dinner? I know that part of what unhinged me about this story is I remember the last time I was at that mini mart, that very gas station. And let me just say, I am not someone who is usually noticed at gasoline mini marts. You know, all those Facebook apps that tell us what our magic powers are? I don't need that. I know what my magic power is. As a white, middle-class, middle-aged, female-identified person who drives an ancient Prius, I have complete invisibility. And my powers are at their height in a gasoline mini-mart in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. I squeal in, I pull out, I've gotten 8 gallons of gas, and no one has seen a thing at all. But this last time I was at the Speedway, it was a little different. I was on my way to go meet my friend Sheikh Tahir Watt. We were going to spend the afternoon together talking about history and Unitarianism and Islam, and I began to wonder what would have happened if I had stopped at the Speedway after meeting him when I was driving him back to his hotel. What would that whole scenario have been like if there was a concealed carry weapon, a vigilante, and what if we added to that equation a brown-skinned man in traditional Islamic dress? I don't know exactly what would have happened, but I'm positive we would not all have been home in time for dinner. I should tell you a little bit about my friend Sheikh Tahir. He is the English language imam at the Prophet's Mosque in Saudi Arabia. And he is studying Unitarian history because he and his fellow imams believe that we hold the key to a kind of bridge between righteous and wonderful Islamic identified people and a greater understanding of their religious tradition. You see, they believe that the best way to fight Islamic extremism is to make sure that Americans, especially, understand Islam before they hear perverted versions of it. But they are also keenly aware that as brown-skinned, Muslim-identified people, that America is likely not to listen to them as they give this message. So Sheikh Tahir is studying Unitarian Universalism because he believes that we can be that bridge. I want you to sit with that for a moment. I cannot tell you the depth of Sheikh Tahir's learning in our tradition either. It's truly amazing. I think it is entirely possible that the living person who knows the most about Unitarian Universalist history is a sheikh in Saudi Arabia. So what does that mean? He believes that we can be the still, small voice that in this time can speak the multi-religious truth that fear of other human beings is not a religious habit of mind. So we wanted to give you a charge today. The first president of the UUA, Frederick May Elliott, used to say that what's distinctive about Unitarian Universalism is that it lays the hand of religious vocation on all of us. So I'm wondering if at this point in General Assembly, when there's so much up close and present, if we can't also take some time today and throughout the time we have left remaining to recommit ourselves to a larger ministry, to recommit ourselves to that message of that still small voice that we need to carry into each and every one of our communities. So today, I hope we can make this commitment to making our lights shine brighter, not because we believe in the glory of the light itself, but because we need it to illuminate this hurting world that needs our message.
Dr. Issei Marie Barnwell gave a 2015 TED Talk on the power in vocal communities. She told her audience that songs have a way of pulling us together. We share a common bond, and we activate every cell in our body, change ourselves, usually for the better. Issei Barnwell taught her audience two well-known songs. I'm sure you know this one. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Sing it with me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. How about Glory, Glory, Hallelujah? You guys know that one? Let's sing that one with me. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Now, what happens when we share these different songs, these different melodies with each other together at the same time? I will lead this side of the room singing Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, while Susan leads the other side of the room singing This Little Light of Mine. If you want to add some harmonies, or maybe your very own melody, feel free to do so as well. You ready?
Please rise in body and spirit.
1, 2, 1. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down.
Let's do the same verse again.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down.
Everywhere I go,
feel like shouting. Since I laid my burden down, feel like shouting, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, feel like shouting, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, I feel like shouting. Hallelujah,
Faced with the burdens of failure and disrespect, poor choices and shame, when like Elijah, we are separate from the holy and sustaining powers of transformation, when we fall short of being our best, there is a river in this heart of hearts. We know our highest good, and if we are willing, if we each do our part, the river will never run dry, and each of us will be enough to transform the world. May you go into this day knowing that you are enough.
Our voices together are enough to change the world. Let's sing one more time in celebration. You can switch sides if you want. Here we go.